Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I am your host, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras, from a state more commonly known as California. Normally, as I normally state, I do not do this program by myself, but unfortunately, my co-host, Mr. Michael Piwowarski, was unable to make it today. He was flying the friendly skies. That's just what he does. He is out there. He is an entrepreneur, making things happen, and unfortunately wasn't able to make the program today. But, hey, at least I have you here, right? I mean, you're here with me. We can enjoy and we can have a really, really good conversation. So, however you're watching the program, all you got to do is comment, and we will be able to see it. If you're watching the program live, we'll pull it up on. We'll pull it up here. We got a new little feature thingy where I should be able to let you guys be able to see it. I make no guarantees, but who knows? We will give it a try. Since Mike is away, Craig will play. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Let's go ahead and let's start by giving a shout out to the folks over at Hitman Industries. That's Hitman Industries. If you own an AR, there's a very good chance that you already own one of their products. But hey, if you're looking to do your own AR build, or you're looking to replace the barrel in your AR, go to hitmanindustries.net. That's hitmanindustries.net, and you will find not just barrels, but you'll find all the cool firearm parts that you would be looking for. Also want to encourage you, please visit the California Republican Assembly. As I like to call them, they are the Republican wing of the Republican Party in California. They're fighting the good conservative fight, helping to elect conservatives from dog catcher all the way up to governor and president of the United States. In fact, if you want to know how to vote in this upcoming election, they've already got their election recommendations posted there on the website. Go there, check it out. Also, finally, I want to let you know, if you are looking for cool combat gear, I'm talking pants, shirts, I'm talking gloves, I'm talking optics or opticals, backpacks, whatever it may be, you want to get the best stuff that our folks are using, then you need to go to uscombatgear.com. That's right, uscombatgear.com. They have all the cool stuff. It is the place to be. Folks, these are the ones, they're the ones who help us to bring the show to you. So do us a favor. Why don't you go to them? Follow the link to their websites in the description to this program, and then check them out. And if you like what you see, spend some money with them, and make sure that you tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. Now, I also want to encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's right, you like, share, and you subscribe to the program. We're fighting algorithms, folks. They really, really, really do not want us to be able to participate or us to be able to be a part of the discussion. And so, therefore, it is widely important. It's very, 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 very important for us to make sure our voice is heard. So what we need you to do, we need you to go ahead and like, share, subscribe, encourage your friends to do the same. Let them know there are tons of different ways in which they can partake of the program. Now we're gonna give my new little featurette here a try. So as you can see here, a good friend of mine, Mark Freeman from here in Sacramento, California, has decided to chime in and let us know, hey, the program is looking good. Mark, thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. We're looking to make it better and better. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into today's news, shall we? Yeah, let's go ahead and let's do that. All right, first up, the first story up here we have has to do with Gavin Newsom. That's right, my governor, Gavin Newsom. I say my governor because even though I did not vote for him, he is the governor here in the state of California, and I do happen to believe in the electoral process, and unfortunately didn't work out for me in this particular case. But in this case, you got a Governor Gavin Newsom, as I like to call him. He's at a conference in New York. I think it's dealing with climate change. But when asked a very interesting question, Gavin was asked the question, why do you think so many people are leaving California? I mean, why is there a mass exodus from California? And the governor had to admit that, yes, there has been a mass exodus from the state of California. And in essence, what he did was he decided, it ain't really my fault. it actually is the fault of Donald Trump. That's right. He is blaming Donald Trump's, what does it say here? He is blaming his policy, his visa policy. So what he's saying is, and this is what he's in essence he's saying that Donald Trump had a relatively aggressive, shall we say, visa policy, meaning that it was very, very difficult for folks to be able to, or difficult to be able to get a visa to come to California, to come to the United States in order to work. Well, but the interesting thing is that has nothing to do with how many people have left California. That just has to do with the number of people who actually come into California, right? That's the policy in particular here that he's talking about is, well, he affected the ability of people to come into California. What he never addressed in this whole conversation was, why are people leaving California? Well, it's real simple. They're leaving California because it's too expensive here. They can no longer afford to live the American dream here. They're leaving California because they're tired of in their schools, various different things, people being taught things like, oh, I don't know, if you're white, you're a racist, or having certain things relating to sexual education and gender identity being taught to their children that is contrary to their values. They're tired of that. And they now have the ability, and one thing the pandemic did do is reveal to people they have the ability to go other places and enjoy being other places. But unfortunately, that was not the case for some folks. Not everybody left, but people now are leaving, and they're leaving in droves. And he just doesn't want to own that. He doesn't want to admit that. Now, what I will also say is that part of why people are leaving California is, and I do agree it's Donald Trump's fault, because he helped them realize that there is such a place as free America. Meaning that when you have a federal policy that is free, that promotes freedom and liberty and free enterprise, and then you compare that to states like California that basically overtaxes, overregulates, and locks down their economy, then you wind up having what you wind up having. You wind up having states like Florida and other states are prospering, while states like California, well, for lack of a better term, are turning into a shithole. And if you don't believe that is the case, all you got to do is go to downtown San Francisco, and you will see that is, in fact, the case. That is the case of what's going on there. So, to a certain degree, I have to admit, he is right. It is Donald Trump, but not probably for the reasons that he stated. In any case, we're going to go ahead and move right along to the next story. All right. The next story has to do with something, and I don't remember if we talked about it on this program, but I did talk about it just the other day on the program, on the bullet over there with Paul Lathrop, and it had to do with attorneys general. Now, we all know, and we've talked about this, right now the banks are setting up, codes for retailers who sell firearms. You also have, as a part of the national industry standard for credit cards, you have credit card companies who are encouraging people to set up specific codes for ammunition purchases. And this is being done so that people can track ammunition purchases, right? So that they can track firearm purchases. Now, why a retailer would want to do this, I have no idea. Why a bank would want to do this, I have no idea. Now, I have my suspicions, right? But a number of attorneys general, in fact, 24 of them, have gotten together, and they are now warning the banks, folks, before you decide to go out there and you decide to do this, just keep in mind, you could very well be running afoul of consumer protection and antitrust laws, right? Meaning that's what they're going to come after you for. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I don't necessarily know that is in the end what they're going to find. I believe they're going to find it because this is definitely an instance where they have no real need for the information. And the only reason they are getting the information is so that they can give it to someone else. And so you wonder, who are they going to give this information to? Well, I'll tell you who they're going to give the information to. They're going to give that information to the government. Because as we've seen was the case with COVID and vaccines, as we've seen has been the case with election interference, right? We know because there have been cases where people have filed cases against some of these companies, they've actually been able, in particular social media companies, they've been able to get information, emails, memos, and things like that, phone records, documenting that members of the government, in particular the Biden White House and his Department of Justice and his Department of Homeland Security, have all kind of gotten together and decided, why don't we, collude, right? Collude. And we're not going to demand that you do this, but we're going to encourage you to do it. And if encouraging you to do it isn't gonna work, then we're gonna cajole you to do it. We're going to pressure you to do it. We're gonna do whatever we got to do in order to get you to do it. So here's what happens: is that those businesses then lose the whole, well, I'm a private business and I can do what I want. I have my own freedom to run my business the way I want, because now they're becoming an agent of the government. And once they become an agent of the government, then this becomes a full-fledged violation of our constitutional rights. It's their attempt to create a gun registry so that they know what we're buying and when and where we're buying it, right? That is the goal behind all of this. That is the thing that they're trying to do. And that's the thing, folks, that we quite frankly need to stop. That is exactly the sort of thing that we need to be working to stop in these particular cases. So in the end, what this is going to come down to, folks, it is going to come down to they are trying to take away. They're trying to infringe on our rights, making it real simple. But it's important that we fight against these efforts, that these attorneys general continue to do what it is that they're doing and fight against these programs as well. All right, moving right along. Yesterday, we talked to you about the guy in North Dakota. This individual decided that he got into an altercation with a young man, a teenager, in fact. This teenager, he deemed to be a threat. He deemed him to be a threat because he is a right-wing extremist. And so he decided that he was going to hit him with his car. Now, I don't know if he decided to hit him with his car to kill him, or if he hit him, or if the plan was to hit him with his car. But here's what happened. So the guy admitted that, I had too much to drink, and then I got in an argument with this kid, and I deemed that he was a Republican extremist, and therefore I decided that he was a threat and he was coming after me. So I need to hit him with my car. He's admitted all that. Not only did he do that, by the way, it was a hit and run. So he actually ran away. Right? So he hit the kid, ran away, came back, called 911, and then left before the police got there. But anyway, they finally ran him down. They arrested him. And now, folks, this guy is released. He is now free, right? Free, meaning he is no longer imprisoned. This guy is free on $50,000 bond. His name is Shannon Brandt. The young man that he struck was Kaylor Ellingson. Now, by the way, I don't know if this guy was a right-winger or not. All I know in particular is that this guy deemed him to be a right-wing extremist, and therefore he felt that it was appropriate to kill him or to hit him with his car. Now, mind you, folks, let us not forget, there are people who were involved in January 6th who inflicted violence against no one. Now, I'm not saying nobody inflicted violence. I'm not saying nobody did. Nobody killed anybody except for the Capitol policeman who shot the unarmed protester. That's the only person who killed anybody. But nobody killed anybody. All right? But there are people who were involved in the January 6th event at the Capitol. Some call it a riot, some call it a protest, some call it an insurrection. I don't call it that. But January 6th, 2021. They are still in jail. They have not been offered bail. Here's a guy who killed someone claiming he's a Republican extremist, killed him over politics. And this guy gets out within 48 hours. Within 48 hours. Is out free on $50 bond. I am speechless. I have no idea what to say about this except how the hell does this happen? In what world is this okay? Well, clearly it's okay in the world of some of these prosecutors, but in the real world, I think where you and I live, I don't deem this to be okay in the slightest. Right? This is not okay in the slightest. If this had been, now imagine this. Imagine this had been a conservative, right, who listened to Donald Trump. Oh wait, by the way, let's take a step back because I didn't even hit on that. You just had the President of the United States do a primetime address to America, who talked about the existential threat that right-wing ultra MAGA extremists were to this country and to our freedom. And now you have an individual who claimed that this guy was a Republican extremist, right? An ultra MAGA extremist. And therefore he thought he needed to hit him with his car because, as the president said, he's out to get him. He's coming to get him. No. Imagine if someone after Donald Trump gave the speech there on January 6th had gotten into a political argument with a Biden supporter and ran him down with his car. Now you tell me that guy would be out on bail within 48 hours. You tell me that they would not be looking to throw him under the jail, especially, by the way, if the guy who hit him was black. Oh, then he'd be thrown under the jail. But folks, this is when I talk about selective prosecution, this is an example of what we're talking about. This is nuts. There is no way that this should be happening, that this should even be the case. There's no way this guy should be free on bond. Absolutely, positively, no way he should be free on bond, especially not in 48 hours. Especially not 48 hours later. What the heck? I mean, come on. Can we please have some sense of reason in this world? Evidently not, but I'm real interested to see more about what happens. Obviously, the President of the United States is not going to own it. I've already had debates with a number of liberals who were like, yeah, no, he was just some crazy drunk dude. Yeah, but someone said something, and crazy drunk dude did something, pretty much fell right in line following the president's direction. And yet nothing. Now, I owe to be honest with you. I'm not the one who believes the president should be held responsible necessarily for this in the legal sense that they are trying to go after Donald Trump and hold him responsible for what happened on January 6th. My point is that politicos on both sides have engaged in hyperbole. That is political grandstanding and really kind of blowing things out of proportion, right? And they've done so, and others have acted and been involved in violence and destruction. And morally, one could point to the words that those individuals said and say they could be partially responsible. But legally, I don't know. Because if we're going to do that, well, then Maxine Waters and Hillary Clinton and John Lewis all need to be held responsible for the riots that took place after Donald Trump got elected in 2016. And then many of them can also be held accountable for the riots that took place during the George Floyd riots. All of the violence and police officers, some people who were killed, 25 people died, by the way, during those riots, just so y'all know. They should be held responsible for those very things. If we're going to hold one legally responsible, then we need to hold the others legally responsible. Once again, that gets back to the concept of equal justice. Quote unquote being equal under the law. Instead, they don't want equal under the law. They want equity under the law, and we all know equity has nothing to do with being equal or fair. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic. The next topic over here. Oh, you guys are going to love this one. All right, there's a movie out. All right, this movie I believe is produced by Breitbart, or is it the Daily Wire? Anyway, one of them. There's a movie that's currently out and it's being produced. It's called My Son Hunter. Now, the facts in this movie are pretty much laid out based on the information that is available on the laptop. That, by the way, was made publicly available. You can download all the information. You can get access to all of the information that was on the laptop. You can view it. You can read it for yourself. Now, before you get all caught up in a tizzy, let's be real. Let's just be frank with you. It's already been verified that the laptop is real, right? New York Times, CNN, Washington Post. Yeah, after the election, after it was covered up by Facebook and by Google and by Twitter and by every other major media outlet because they wanted Joe Biden to get elected, after it was covered up, well, now they're saying it's real. And that's probably because there's going to be some indictments that are going to be coming down and they don't want to look too stupid. Or at least, let's clarify, they don't want to look stupid all at once. That's really what it is. They don't want to look stupid all at once. So they're gonna look stupid in pieces, in small parts. They're gonna make them small stories instead of one big story. Not only was his laptop real, but Hunter Biden and the big guy. I'll leave it to you to guess who the big guy is. And the big guy, they involved in some crimes. So anyway, in this movie, it's kind of a comedy. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's not supposed to be necessarily a satire. All right. But in this movie, it's called My Son Hunter. And in this movie, there are 13 true facts that Breitbart points out in this movie that are true and are proven, or at least proven by the information that is available on the laptop. And I want to go over some of those. I want to go over some of those with you. Let's see. We're not going to go over all of them. The first one is Hunter Biden took $5 million in a deal with his Chinese business associate Patrick Ho, who he referred to as the effing spy chief of China, in a recording, once again, that was on the abandoned laptop, the verified abandoned laptop. So once again, this is not a question of whether or not this happened. We know this happened, or at least we know that Hunter Biden believed it happened. Now, once again, the information is available on there, but at least we know that Hunter Biden had an idea that, once again, that this went on. But anyway, so this is something that's verifiable from the laptop. We keep on rolling. We also know Hunter Biden inked a $1.5 billion deal with a subsidiary of the Bank of China just 12 days after he visited China with his father, then Vice President Joe Biden. Once again, then Vice President Joe Biden. So he gets on Air Force Two. He flies over to China with his dad. They visit, and once again, he says, the president said, I have never discussed my son's business with him. Anyway, once again, all been dispelled by information on the laptop. They then meet with his business folks in China. All of a sudden, he inks a $1.5 billion deal. Right. But there's no concern about anything going on there in China. Oh, wait, there's more. Hunter Biden received $3.5 million from Moscow for an unknown reason. $3.5 million. But folks, this is not the only money that Hunter Biden has gotten for doing absolutely nothing or for some unknown reason. For example, Hunter Biden sat on the board of Ukrainian energy company Burisma, while his then vice president father was in charge of U.S. policy towards Ukraine, right? That leads me to the next one. He earned $83,000 per month. Per month. While his father was, once again, overseeing policy in Ukraine, right? $83,000 per month. Now, why is this important? Because Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion from Ukraine. And this was in order to protect the Ukrainian energy company Burisma Once again, while his son was on the board. Now, I'm not saying it's because his son was on the board, but that they're not saying that it's because his son was on the board. What they're saying is it was while his son was on the board. These folks are indisputable facts that we know. We know this because this information is on the laptop. It's there, folks. No question about it. It's there and it exists. So then the question is, why wouldn't we go see this movie? Why wouldn't we watch this movie? Folks, there's a midterm election coming up, and I can guarantee you if Republicans take control of both houses or of either house of Congress, there's going to be investigations into this stuff. People are going to wonder, why wasn't this laptop further investigated? Why have they been slow walking the Hunter Biden investigation ever since Donald Trump was no longer president? Why have they been slow walking it? We need to know. And it's because they don't want to show that the president of the United States is compromised. And that is exactly what he is. He was compromised when he was vice president. Now he is compromised now. And they don't want you to know that, because if you have all of that information, there's a very good chance you probably would not have voted for Joe Biden in 2022. Well, if you did vote for Joe Biden. And if you did vote for Joe Biden, you should have known better. Anyway, that's that. All right, let's move on to we're on to parting shots. It's about that time. All right. So the first parting shot, it will be in honor of the story that we were just discussing. Our good friend, Mr. Biden, who is always looking out for his son. And this was something that was caught on film. Once again, Mr. Biden, looking out for his young son, Hunter. It says, "Good evening, sir. I'd like to buy 2 cracks. It's for my son." That's right. You got Joe Biden over here looking like he's looking through some money or trying to dig through some money in his hand, or so he's got something there in his hand, or he's reading something. Anyway, he's talking to a gentleman who's sitting down on some stairs, looking like he might be up to no good. Maybe, I'm assuming that the president has assumed that he is a crack dealer, and his son is in need of some cracks. So he's getting 2 cracks for his son, Hunter. That is funny. And this next one, this one is in honor of my governor, Gavin Newsom. It says, "When you have more hair gel than brains." And it's just a picture of Mr. Gavin Newsom with his hair all slicked back, looking all purty and stuff, thinking he's smart. But, heck, at the very least, he has been successful in keeping... he has been successful in keeping us from being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? From being able to get him out of office. I wish there were more. I wish we had the ability to do more to get him out. Sadly and unfortunately, we do not. But we do have a surprise here as we have now gotten to the end of the program. And that would be the arrival of my good friend, Miss.
So sorry, Craig, I overslept. No, you didn't like that? Not at all? Nothing?
There you go.
There we are. Sorry, Craig, I overslept.
Dude, it's like late in the afternoon, man. How can you oversleep?
Well, you take naps at work and it happens.
Anyway, sir. Any of the stories in particular for today that you'd like to comment on?
No. No, all good. Just figured I'd tune in the last couple of minutes and wish you luck and maybe say hello to the sponsors for everybody.
Well, you know what? That's actually a very good idea. Why don't you go ahead and do that for us?
Take us out with that. Hey, please say hello to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR, odds are you may have one of their barrels already and not even know it. But now you can buy direct for your next build or replace the one you have in your rifle now. Let's say hello to our good friends at the California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you visit them and help out any way you can. And if you want some awesome tactical gear, go to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are the people who help us, help you. So do us a favor, help us, help them. go to their websites, follow the links in the description to this program, spend some money with them, and let them know that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. With that, well, I guess we're going to call it a day. It is it is now the end of the program. Maya, is a really, really long haul for you today.
Yes, it was a very long haul, and I appreciate the 2 minutes here on the program to say hi to everybody.
Well, we appreciate having you, sir. With that, we will be back tomorrow on Free to Back Friday with more 2A news and conservative views. We'll talk to you then.